Hi everyone, welcome back to the Great English Podcast. I'm Catherine.
And I'm Mark. Today's episode is short as we're going to explore 5 new words and phrases to enhance your English vocabulary.
That's right, Mark. Let's jump right in with our first phrase, on the same page.
On the same page means to have a shared understanding or agreement about something.
Exactly. For instance, when working on a team project, it's important that everyone is on the same page about the goals and deadlines.
Let's use it in a dialogue. Catherine, how do you make sure your team is on the same page?
We have regular meetings to discuss our progress and any issues that arise. It helps to ensure we're all aligned. What about you, Mark?
I like to send detailed emails after meetings, summarizing what we discussed. That way, everyone has a clear reference.
Great strategy. Next, let's talk about our second word, ballpark figure.
A ballpark figure is an estimate or rough calculation.
Right? For example, if someone asks you how much a project will cost and you're not sure of the exact amount, you can give them a ballpark figure.
Here's a dialogue to practice. Catherine, can you give me a ballpark figure of how much it would cost to renovate a kitchen?
Sure, Mark. I'd say it could be anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000, depending on the materials and appliances you choose.
Thanks, Catherine. That's a helpful ballpark figure. Let's move on to our third phrase, go the extra mile.
Go the extra mile means to make an extra effort, or do more than what is expected.
Exactly. For example, a teacher who stays after school to help students with their homework is going the extra mile.
Here's a dialogue. Mark, can you think of a time when you went the extra mile?
Definitely. Last month, a client needed an urgent project completed over the weekend. I rearranged my schedule and worked late hours to make sure it was done on time. What about you, Catherine?
I once volunteered to organize a charity event at short notice. I had to manage everything from decorations to guest lists, but seeing the smiles on everyone's faces made it worth going the extra mile.
Those are inspiring examples. Now, let's talk about our fourth phrase, bent out of shape.
Bent out of shape means to become upset or angry about something that isn't very important.
Right. For example, if someone cuts in front of you in line, you might get bent out of shape, even though it's a minor inconvenience.
Here's a dialogue to practice. Mark, can you recall a time when you got bent out of shape over something small?
Sure. I once got really bent out of shape because my favorite coffee shop was out of my favorite blend. Looking back, it seems silly to get so upset over something so minor. How about you, Catherine?
I got bent out of shape when I found out my colleague used my coffee mug without asking. It's just a mug, but at that moment, it felt like a big deal.
It's funny how small things can sometimes get to us. Let's move on to our final phrase, hit the nail on the head.
Hit the nail on the head means to describe exactly what is causing a situation or problem.
Exactly. For instance, if someone accurately identifies the root cause of an issue during a meeting, you can say they hit the nail on the head.
Here's a dialogue to illustrate this. Mark, can you give an example of a time when someone hit the nail on the head?
Sure. During a team meeting, we were struggling to figure out why our project was falling behind schedule. One of my colleagues hit the nail on the head when she pointed out that we hadn't allocated enough resources. What about you, Catherine?
In a brainstorming session, I hit the nail on the head when I suggested that our marketing campaign wasn't reaching the right audience. It turned out that was exactly the issue we needed to address.
And that's a wrap for today's episode. We hope you find these new phrases useful and feel more confident using them in your conversations.
Thanks for tuning in. Remember to practice these phrases and incorporate them into your daily language.
And don't forget to subscribe to the Great English Podcast for more fun and practical English lessons.
See you next time.
Bye for now.